Hey guys, it's Christian from the Calcio Bros, and I'm here to discuss week 13 of Serie A. A lot of stuff did happen, some heartbreak, some good results, some good performances. So let's start off with Saturday's games. The day started off with the Derby della Capitale at noon. Roma-Lazio, the Giallorossi taking the victory 2-1. Goals for the Giallorossi were scored by Perotti from the spot, Nangolan, and then for Lazio it was as well Immobile from the spot. Good result for Roma. They wanted the confidence going into their Champions League game. Unfortunately, they did lose that 2-0 to Atletico, but it did help them pass their rivals in the standings by a couple points now, so which puts more pressure on Simone Inzaghi's side. Lazio now want to come back going into next week and trying to get the victory, making sure they get back on the right track again. This was a tough loss, but they know they can do better. They know they can pass their rivals. They do play great football, and they know they can play at the top of their game. They will finish above their rivals. Roma were looking tough. They did also put in a great performance. The Derby della Capitale is always a great match. Let's see what else happens. These two teams are great sides. They do play good football. Who knows who will finish? I know Lazio want to finish above the rivals and finish in a Champions League spot. Roma looking to at least win the league. And as well, trying to do great in the Champions League. But let's see what happens. There are other teams pushing for those spots as well. They have to still compete with the others. But again, still long to go in the season. We have after Napoli-Milan. Napoli taking the victory over the Rossoneri. They're still struggling with Montella in charge. It's just something else. Napoli's goals were scored by Lorenzo Insigne and Zielinski. Milan had a consolation goal scored by Alessio Romagnoli. Great volley outside the box. Check it out if you guys haven't. This game was an interesting one. With the formation Milan played, the players, Suso was injured. If he wasn't injured, I bet Andre Silva wasn't even going to play. The substitutions that Montella did, he put on Abate and Biglia when he needed to put on Rodriguez and Cutrone, especially when he needed a goal, when he was 2-0 down. I don't know what he's thinking. There's one note to be made with Insigne's goal. Originally, it was waved off, but then it was given because of VAR. I think about that. There's 3 cameras, if you guys don't know. One at the halfway, 2 at the 18-yard box on each side. The one at the 18-yard box shows Insigne is level with the defense, but the one at half shows that he's offside. So I don't know if there's some debate, or there is some debate, if they should put in an extra 2 cameras in between the 18-yard box and the halfway line. It would make it easier for referees to see if players were truly offside or onside to help the flow of play, and as well not say if the wrong call or not. But also with Insigne scoring that, he shows he can be creative, he shows he can score, he shows that he's able to go through the opponent and create the chances that his team needs. Ventura, were you watching? Did you see what he did? Like, he basically took Milan apart, and because of you, he didn't play at all, and we could have beaten Sweden. But at least you're gone now, and hopefully he can play games. Let's move on to now the Sunday games, starting with Crotone-Genoa. Genoa won thanks to a goal from Rigoni, and it was also Davide Ballardini's first game back in charge of Genoa. This was an important victory for them as they have been struggling. This does push them up in the standings, but not by much. They're still third last, I believe it is, with only Verona and Benevento behind them. It is tough to say if they will be able to claw their way out after such a struggling beginning of the season. But especially that is so close at the bottom half of the table, who knows what will happen. Crotone know they can bounce back, pick up the results they need against teams ahead of them or even under them. They know they can be better. They know they can win games. This is also a good start for Genoa to get them going again. Let's see what else Ballardini has in store with Genoa and what else they can bring them. Now we move on to the 9 a.m. games where we have Udinese-Cagliari. This game finished 1-0, goal scored early by Joao Pedro after there's a mix-up at the back between Danilo and Bizzarri. Udinese missed a lot of chances. Maxi Lopez, if you guys haven't seen his miss, it was terrible. It was a rebound right to him and he missed the net completely. Like, he has to do better. his career is just down the drain now, I think. Like, he is, I don't even know. He just can't score, can't find anything. And that's not what Udinese need up front in order to keep their hopes alive of maybe not getting relegated. It's tough to say the way they've been going. As you see, they did also get a sending off. Bizzarri, their goalie, was sent off in the last few minutes. It was called because of VAR with a tackle outside the box. And then later, Samir was playing in net for the last few minutes. Didn't make much of a difference as there was only one goal scored throughout the game. We move on to Torino-Chievo, where the game finished all squared, 1 apiece. A goal was scored by Hetemai for the Flying Donkeys. The goal was a little debatable because it seemed like there was a foul on De Silvestri. The way he climbed on top of him seemed like he jumped on top of his back. Maybe could have gone to VAR, but the ref didn't decide to and let them have the goal. That didn't last too long as Torino did bounce back with a goal from Daniele Baselli, looping header over Sorrentino. But it does not help Torino as they want to keep going with winning form. Doesn't look like they could, considering they're still lacking ideas and now winless in 2 games. Another note on that was that Belotti did have a penalty he missed. That is his 4th penalty missed in 6 games in over a year. That is a terrible statistics. And a striker like him, he should be bagging in the goals. Considering too, he's coming back from injury, still trying to find his rhythm back. But from a player who scored over 20 goals last season, it's surprising that he's not able to recapture his form. Maybe he was a one-season wonder, who knows? But this is terrible for him. His confidence will be lacking and it will be tough to say if he'll be able to continue his form up front. Also, as you see, Chievo did also get a red card. Radovanovic was in a bit of a tussle with Niang. He got a second yellow while only Niang got booked, so there was only 1 red card there. Next game was Spal-Fiorentina. 1 apiece there as well. Spal opened up the scoring with Pawlowski, who's starting to find his rhythm now with Spal, starting to score goals, starting to link up with his teammates a little bit more. And then Chiesa tied it up in the second half. He's been the standout player for Fiorentina this year. Not sure if he'll make a big money move like Bernardeschi did. Who knows if he'll stay at Fiorentina for a couple more years. He did extend his contract, but still, that doesn't really matter today. Players still move even if they sign big contracts. So who knows, but Fiorentina still trying to find an identity, still trying to find their rhythm together with a lot of new players coming in. How much more can they last in the sense of not winning games, trying to be consistent? They win 1 game, then can't win for another 3 games. Let's see what Pioli can do to change his team up. Also, red card there as Oikonoimu got a 2nd yellow and was sent off. Game didn't change much with that, so it all finished square. Now, an interesting game. Sampdoria-Juventus. It was all level at the break. Both teams putting on the pressure, but they weren't playing at their highest standards. Buffon supposedly didn't play because he was still heartbroken about the Azzurri not making it to the World Cup, but I feel that's just more of Allegri not playing him because of the Champions League match with Barcelona, which did finish in a 0-0 draw. So that to me was just that, not playing him there, really. It did show Sampdoria scoring 3 goals with Duvan Zapata, Torreira, and then Ferrari. They were winning about 3-0 till the 89th, 90th minute, playing good football, really putting the pressure on Juve. Juve were able to get their 2 goals in injury time. Penalty from Higuain, then Dybala with a low strike. Now it's time to see if Juve can come back and really get themselves going again. They are 4 points behind Napoli, and they do want to continue being dominant in Serie A. They want to try going for that 7th consecutive Scudetto, but who knows if Allegri's Juve is starting to go downhill, if their downfall is starting to commence, with another team starting to come up and get the victory and complete the dominance in Serie A. We had our last 9 a.m. game with more heartbreak for Benevento. They just can't catch a break at all. Game finished 2-1 for Sassuolo Matri opening up the scoring with a bad mistake from the goalie who gave it off to Misiroli. Misiroli passing off to Matri, scoring on the empty net. This terrible defending. Benevento were later able to tie it up thanks to an Armentero's deflection from a Cicciaretti shot. After that, Letizia was sent off, so really put Benevento in a tough position. They were playing 10 men for most of the game. Everyone thought they were getting a point. And then Sassuolo had a penalty. Berardi steps up to take it, misses, and hits the bar. We still thought they were going to tie it up. But, in the dying seconds, Paluzzo from a corner gets a header on the ball and scores. That was a tough result for Benevento to swallow. They did break Manchester United's record of 12 consecutive defeats. And they are also the first team not to get a single point within the opening 13 rounds of play. It's a terrible record to have. 13 consecutive losses. It's unbelievable. And a lot of their games, like, they've been managing to lose in the last few minutes. They just can't hold on to get that draw. And it's heartbreaking to see them. They really fought for their playoffs, managing to come up, but I don't know how much longer they can go without getting it. It'll probably continue, but who knows if they're able to stay up and get enough points in the last games to stay up. I don't know. To me, it's just tough. And Sunday was Inter-Atalanta. Atalanta struggling still, not looking like their usual selves. Icardi was the man of the match there, scoring his 90th and 91st goal. Both headers, great headers. They are just rampaging through Serie A. They are still undefeated as well. Spalletti really making Inter his own, really shaping him, utilizing his players very, very well. He has done an excellent job. Skriniar is really developing at the back. It's just tough. Maybe we'll see Inter again in Champions League as well. Maybe fight for the title. They are looking like a good team. We'll see how long they can keep their undefeated run for as well. This also is a tough loss for Atalanta. They want to keep going. They want to make Europa League again. Maybe they can qualify for Champions League via Europa League, but it's tough to say. They still need to get out of their group as well. And they do have a tough game this week against Lyon. Let's see how they do. But they also need to perform better. They haven't been as consistent as they were last season. So it's tough to see a great Atalanta side struggling with lots of talent. Let's see if Gasperini can change their season around. Now, to end off week 13, was Verona-Bologna. Verona seemed to almost get the victory, but Bologna managing to get the win. Verona's goals were scored by Cerci and Cáceres, but they weren't able to hold on to it much longer. Destro scoring, Okonkwo getting the equalizer, and then Donsa with a great strike, getting the winner for Donadoni's men. This still puts Verona in a tough position. They are still bottom half table, not picking up results that they need to get out of there. They'll be probably the ones fighting for relegation at the end. They want to see what else they can do. They're going to have to make major changes in January if they want to stay up. Bologna managing to get a good win. They were really struggling last few games, so it's good that they managed to get a result. They've been losing few games now, so it's good to see them winning again. Destro's back to scoring. Maybe this could be the turning point for Donadoni's men. So those are all the results, guys. We're going to go on to our quick player of the match, then goal of the weekend. I would say player of the weekend. First, I'll give an honorary mention to Lorenzo Insigne, who really tore Milan apart, scored the first goal, and just created lots of chances for his team. Really showed what he can do. Ventura, again, were you watching? This is what we needed against Sweden. Player of the weekend, to me, belongs to Mauro Icardi. He is a man on form, scoring 13 goals in 13 games, scoring his 90th and 91st goals for Inter. So that is a great accomplishment for him. If you also know, all his goals this year, he had 5 braces and 1 hat-trick. So there isn't a game where he just scored 1 goal. He is a multi-game scorer, which is what Inter want, and it's good for him. Let's see how well he can keep going. He is now becoming one of the best number 9 strikers in Italy right now. Let's see how well he can keep growing, as well as if Inter can keep a hold of him in the future. Now with that settled, we're going to go into the goal of the weekend. Tough to say, honestly. There's a lot of good goals to choose from. I'm not going to choose just one, maybe. It's tough to say. I have a few in mind. I'm going to go with Torreira's shot against Juve, nice and low, beat Chesney in the corner. Great run for himself, turning into one of the youngest talents in Serie A, really performing well, and that's just one stamp need. Next player is Raja Nangolan, a low drive against Lazio. Put his team up 2-0. Just what they needed to keep going and claim the victory. That was the game winner. And then the last option I have is Alessio Romagnoli's volley just outside the box against Napoli. Even though it didn't count for much, you don't see it that often from a defender. So it was a great goal to see him score, and let's hope he can really turn into a great defender for Milan. He's showing that right now, but hopefully he can come out with more important goals as well. So that's it for round 13. I'm going to touch on quickly for round 14 just to see what's going on as well, let you guys know what's happening as well. So November 25th on the Saturday, there are 4 games. First one at 9, Bologna-Sam. Both teams won last weekend, so they want to continue their run of form. Let's see who will take that. Chievo-Spal at noon, as well as Sassuolo Verona at noon. Some interesting games. Sassuolo Verona both at the bottom, so that'll be a key matchup for those two teams to see who can get 3 points out of it. 2:45 we have Cagliari-Inter. Both teams again got victories last weekend. Inter looking the better side. Let's see if they can steal another victory away from Cagliari. Spalletti again really making Inter his own. He is just driving that force of Inter players going forward. It's amazing what he's doing, how he's able to turn them around after the struggle they had. 9 a.m. games, there's only 3 of them on November 26th. AC Milan-Torino, Genoa-Roma, and Udinese-Napoli. Milan-Torino is one of the standout matches that morning. Montella's side really needs to pick up something. Same with Mihalovic's side. But I always feel the more pressure would be on Milan because of how much they're struggling. And it'll see how much Montella will be able to keep his job in the future. I still don't know what the board sees in him, but he does need to go. As well, Torino trying to get back to winning ways. Let's see what happens. Let's see if Belotti can score and how well both teams can play against against a struggling side, teams that are lacking to score. Who will have the biggest impact in that game? Roma again, they're playing lowly Genoa. I feel Roma will probably take this one. Genoa's just starting off with a new coach, but still, they did beat Crotone, but it's not going to be the same against Roma. So again, I feel Roma will take the victory out of that. Udinese-Napoli, Udinese is struggling still. Napoli again will probably pull away with this, continue their run of form. They are having the best time right now, undefeated, playing the best football right now. Sarri is just really knowing how to use his players well and making the most out of what he has. At noon, Lazio-Fiorentina, that'll be an interesting game. Both teams want to get going once again. Simone Inzaghi's side probably will maybe take this, again with Fiorentina still trying to find cohesion within each other, but who knows what will happen. It will be an interesting game, a great game to be honest. Just stay tuned for that. Ending off Sunday, Juventus-Crotone. This will probably be a game Juve need to get back on track. Crotone are low in the standings. They will put up a fight, but Juventus will probably come away with the victory, but who knows what Crotone can pull. They could probably surprise a few people. And then ending off with Monday Night Football once again, Atalanta-Benevento. Can Benevento find their first point, or will they go into 14 consecutive losses? Who knows? Atalanta will probably use this as a way to regroup themselves and come back with a victory going forward. So that is week 14, guys. Let us know what game you are looking forward to. Follow us on Twitter, Calcio_Bros, and subscribe to us on YouTube for more Calcio content. We'll hear from you guys soon. Ciao!